Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Today I'm going to talk about the dog. By popular demand, many people have asked to see the dog. I've done shorts of the dog. I put a whole playlist of them in the description. But today, it's Fun Friday. I'm going to talk about the dog. I'm just going to talk about her and throw up pictures and videos as appropriate. I've got literally hundreds of photos of her. So let's start at the beginning. I always wanted to have a Labrador Retriever. I just thought that they seemed like the doggiest of dogs. Just the most stereotypical dog you can imagine. And they always seemed to be friendly and wonderful. And I had friends who had labs. Now, I had never had a lab. In fact, with the exception of one dog, a poodle, Missy, that we did get as a puppy when I was very young, I've never really had a puppy, and I've never had a purebred. I've always had mutts that were always rescues. Things we got from friends or family members that couldn't keep their dog for whatever reason, or dogs I would go to the pound, and I'm like, let me have one of your dogs. Usually they came with behavioral issues, but that was just something that was part and parcel, usually when you're taking on someone else's dog. But I wanted a lab, and I wanted to name the lab Abby from Young Frankenstein. When Igor goes to the lab and drops the brain he's supposed to get, and so he picks up one called Abnormal, which he thinks is Abby Normal. So technically, my dog's name is Abby Normal, but I just tell people her name is Abby. And if they ask, I usually say it's Madame Abigail, but her friends call her Abby. So how we got her is interesting. We went to a pet store one day. We were going to an outdoor mall in Corona del Mar. And there was a pet store there. And we went inside, and I saw her. She was a 14-week-old yellow lab puppy. Now, most puppies are sold at about 8 to 10 weeks, but not Abby. She got pneumonia right before she was going to be put up for available for sale. So they had to keep her in quarantine. By the time they put her out, she was big and energetic and teething. So she would gnaw on people. Now, she wasn't biting to draw blood, but if you've ever been around a puppy that's teething, they gnaw on everything. They gnaw on your hand, they gnaw on your leg. I fell in love with this monster. Also, because she was already 14 weeks old and she scared the kids, she was on sale, so she was my discount doggie. So I bought her. We brought her home right then. Have a picture right when we got home. She was nervous in the car, but she was never, ever nervous after that. She made herself right at home. You would have thought she grew up in this house. She was on the furniture. She was on beds. She was in the backyard. She would climb up on things. She would climb into bushes. She would climb up on... We had an old wrought iron bench. She'd climb up on that. Basically, everything belonged to her. The cat we had, Bonkers, was not amused. Until then, Bonkers was the queen of the house. Robert had her from before I'd met him. When we moved in together, she was all by herself, and we had lived in this house for a few years. She was all by herself. She was queen of the house. Suddenly, there was this thing in the house, this blonde, hyperactive, drooling monster. And Abby loved the cat. Wanted to play with her, wanted to sleep with her, wanted to lick her. The cat was not amused. By the end of the first day, the cat was looking at us like, when does this thing go home? So when we first started with Abby, we wanted to do everything right. So we were going to crate train her. We kept her on the first floor of the house with a gate on the stairs that was raised up a few inches so the cat could go under. So the cat could come down to the first floor if she wanted to be exposed to Abby, but she could always escape upstairs where Abby couldn't go. Abby didn't mind sleeping in the crate. She was fine with it. She would go right in and zonk out. But she'd always wake up around 3 a.m. and cry until somebody went downstairs and took her outside so she could pee. And then once she was up, she was up. By the way, quick sidebar on trying to potty train this dog. Abby isn't the smartest dog I've ever owned. So when we first got her, she wasn't potty trained. She'd just pee all over the house. if we caught her, we didn't want to be too negative because she was very sensitive. So we'd go, hey, hey, and we'd grab her and we'd go outside with her. She didn't learn go to the bathroom outside. What she learned was, oh, they don't like seeing me go to the bathroom. So she'd run away from us in the house. She'd run around the corner. She'd run to another room and quickly pee. That's what she thought we were trying to teach her. It took weeks to teach her, no, we want you to go outside. And interestingly, because we had a back patio that was concrete and some area that was around the edge of the yard that was wood chips, she learned, oh, I can only go in grass. So she won't go in concrete and she won't go in wood chips, which turns out to be pretty good when you're walking in a park that has sidewalks and a kid play area that's usually got wood chips. She will not go to the bathroom there. So that was good. But once she got up in the morning, she was up. So even though my previous dog liked to get up at dawn, Abby made me an even earlier morning person. We'd be up at 3 or 4 in the morning, and then we were just up. So as soon as she was potty trained, though, and we knew she was fine with the cat, we gave her free reign of the house, and she could run wherever she wanted. As soon as we did that, she never slept in that crate again. If she was sleepy, she'd jump on her bed and sleep there. So after a few weeks of her ignoring the crate, I gave it to a friend of mine who needed a crate for their dog. Again, now that the dog had full run of the house and access to the bed, the cat was not amused. The cat was not happy this dog was around. As Abby got older, I decided I didn't want her to be like my previous dog, the German Shepherd, that was very aggressive to other dogs and terrified of teenage boys. I wanted her to be very socialized. So we took her everywhere. We'd take her on car rides. She'd have multiple walks a day to different areas like parks, sidewalks along busy roads. We taught her you can't step in the road. And when we cross a road, you have to go as quickly as possible. But we walked her 3 or 4 times a day, rain or shine. We took her to dog parks. We took her to dog camps, where you can drop your dog off in the morning and then pick her up after work. She loved that. She met all kinds of dogs. She played all the time, and she'd be really tired when we picked her up. We'd take her to the vet for her shots, for her checkups. She was happy to see everybody. We took her to pet stores. When we bought her food, we'd take her along so she'd see people there. We'd even find restaurants that had like pet-friendly patios, and we'd take her there. So she was really, really well socialized. She loved people. All kinds of people she just learned strangers are just friends she hasn't met yet. She loves other dogs. She loves cats. She even loves rabbits. I think in her mind, rabbits are long-eared cats that live outside. And in our backyard, she made friends with a rabbit. The rabbit would come in to eat clover from our lawn, and she would just sit next to it and watch. And the rabbit quickly learned to ignore her. And I tried to explain that she was an apex predator, but that rabbit was her best friend. And even to this day, rabbits and squirrels aren't to be chased. They're just to be looked at. So she's very friendly. She is filled with joy. That's how a lot of my friends and neighbors describe this dog. We're really lucky, though, that she likes car rides. Because when we moved to Seattle in May of 2020, that was the middle of the pandemic. So our plan to stop overnight, possibly over 2 nights, and drive up and see scenic sights and stay in a hotel, a dog-friendly hotel and stuff, all that went away. All the hotels were closed or limited capacity. So we just decided to make it in one 20-hour drive. She loved it. It was an adventure. She sat in the back, looked out the window, stuck her head between us, hey, what's going on? Slept for a while. As soon as we got to this new house, boom, she just made herself at home, like she had lived there all her life. Now, we don't go as many places because we were in the pandemic. But she still got to go to some dog parks, still got rides. We found a pet store in Mill Creek that she loves. We take her there every Saturday to pick up her food. She has to say hi to everyone who works there. They know who she is. They give her treats. She loves it there. I also have neighbors that have learned that if they say hi to me, the dog will just sit there wagging her tail. But if they say hi to her, they're now her new best friend. And she will drag me across the street to see them. If their garage door is open, she wants to go in and say hi. They've learned that. They've just accepted that this dog has decided to love them. And even though they never give her treats, all they do is pet her and say hi. I've had her drag me across the street to see a neighbor She did it the first time she saw him. I have a neighbor who likes to do ceramics. If her garage door is open, Abby will try to drag me in there to see her. So it's funny because she's just so incredibly friendly that she's almost like too friendly. And of course, you've all seen her in here. You've seen her in the shorts I've done, but you also see her show up in the background and you can hear her snoring. Because once I start talking, whether it's this or on a call, like a video call for work, she hears me talking and she comes running in because she has FOMO. She's always terrified that people somewhere are having fun without her. If we walk around, if she sees people playing or throwing a ball around, she saw roofers on a house, she stopped because she was like, there's people over there doing things and they need my help. And that's what life with Abby's like. She's 10 and a half now. She hasn't really slowed down as much. She slowed down a little, but she's gone from having the energy of like 3 cattle dogs tied together and fed a diet of nothing but coffee to maybe a normal energetic dog. People don't believe me when I say she's 10. Some people think she's just a couple years old, but that's her. And they ask her name, and I said her name is Madame Abigail, but her friends call her Abby. I don't even talk about the Abby Normal story anymore. But she also goes by the name She-Beast, Beast Creature, Fang Face, Monster. And because of her predilection to go to the bathroom behind a neighbor's flower bush, for you fans of Children of the Corn, sometimes I call her She Who Poops Behind the Rose. Anyway, that is the life and times of Madame Abigail.